Good Saturday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great. Hopefully you got your coffee and you're kicking back. We got some news updates and we got Watchman reports coming in. We got top people in the Trump administration are very upset over the FBI ruling this week on the client list, threatening to resign. So apparently we're not the only ones upset. We got word out that Jerome Powell of the Federal Reserve is about to resign, and we're getting this from a very reliable source who used letterhead. It's great. And an icy raid on the California farm. Media is leaving out a few little details that we will fill you in on. An employee spills the beans to the Watchman community on Kroger not pricing things right. Is it systemic? Is it on purpose? Well, we got that for you. And a great tip on picking potatoes at the store that will last longer and making the potatoes that you bring home last at least twice as long. That and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to get out of risky things like stocks into safer things like gold, silver, and platinum. Gold's rocketing upwards, silver's rocketing upwards. It's a pretty good place to be, and the US dollar is crashing, which is not such a great place to be. If you want to get your retirement savings locked in and into something physical, something safe, then you might want to talk to Jonathan and his team. There'll be a link at the end of the video for you to find out more. All right, let's start here. This is a big one here. I missed this, literally missed this in the last video. My alarm went on my phone, went bleh, and I thought it was an Amber Alert because I just glanced at it, but apparently it was alerting me here in Pennsylvania that the 911 system was out. Now, yesterday, the 911 system for the whole state of Pennsylvania was out or intermittent. Nobody's really sure because you're not supposed to call 911 to check, right? They tell you not to do that, right? So they're saying, like, if you call 911 for an emergency and you don't get through, then call these alternate numbers, which is not really something you'd want to do during a crisis or emergency, right? Yeah, even hours later, over 6 hours later, they were still only receiving a majority of the calls, whatever that means. And they're saying that they didn't understand, didn't know what went wrong or why the system's not working. This is 13 million people, friends. One of the most populous states in the union and statewide. Are you prepared for that? As I keep asking you guys the question, if I were to pull open your phone right now, which I'm not allowed to do, unless I'm TSA. If I am TSA or Border Patrol, I could do that, right? If I were to pull open your phone, would I be able to find your local fire department number in there and your local police department number in there? Because you may try dialing the emergency number and it won't go through. Do you know the direct line? You can Google it. You can Google it today. It'll take you 5 minutes at most to get it into your phone and into your loved ones' phones. Please, please make sure you have a contact in your phone for fire, ambulance, and but if you call the fire department number, usually that's linked up to the ambulance, but and the police. Okay, please do that. It might just save your life, might save a family member's life. Okay. All right. Chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, government-owned institutions, Pulte, the chairman there, issued a statement on letterhead that he is encouraged that Jerome Powell is considering resigning, which is one of those things you're kind of like, he did what? Why would he do that? You have to ask the question of whether he was instructed or nudged to do so by someone high up at the Trump administration, or if he decided to do that of his own free will. However it is, that certainly is going to put more pressure on Jerome Powell to resign And there is a lot of pressure out there. They're trying to whip up Congress members to call on him openly to resign. And they want him out so they can lower the interest rates, which, if they do that, will certainly have an effect on the stock market. If they fail to do so, will have another significant effect on the stock market, right? All right, moving over to another federal agency, because our lives revolve around federal agencies these days. It's a wonderful, totally capitalistic system. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino, former Rumble host and former Fox News guy, cool guy. He is considering resigning over the lack of a client list. Had a altercation with Pam Bondi. Clash, some are calling it. Took the day off on Friday because of this clash. And word is he's considering resigning. Now, we also heard then that Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, said that he might leave if Dan Bongino leaves. So when the FBI director and the FBI deputy director are both threatening to resign, not looking good. Not looking good. Pam Bondi needs to get her house in order. And I think there's increasing pressure out there for her to just flat out resign, because ain't nobody taking her serious right now. The only person taking her seriously right now is President Trump. And that all has us very confused and very suspicious, doesn't it? The people defending these people really have us concerned. This used to be something we could all get together on, that people who abuse people, small people, we could all agree that that was a bad thing that we should stop. Now some people think it's okay to cover that up. And it's confusing most of us. We're just flabbergasted by it. Oh, and let's see here. We got a note here. 9 Democrats got indicted for a massive vote harvesting scheme in San Antonio, Texas. What do you mean by vote harvesting? Well, because that never happens. Well, let's see. The votes were purchased using cash apps. Not cash apps on their phone. Idiots. Absolute idiots. Anyway, this is one of the actual jurisdictions where they can actually get prosecuted for these type of crimes. Crimes that don't ever happen. Show us there's no evidence of any such crimes happening, except this one and dozens of other cases, all related to a certain 2020. Anyway, moving on, because we're not supposed to talk about that type of stuff here. Trump threatens Canada with a 35% tariff rate starting August 1st. It's among the many nations that are going to get fiscally punched in the face, so to speak, because they just refuse to negotiate on any kind of fair terms with the United States. They don't want to balance the trade imbalance. They don't want to do it. U.S. State Department is about to lay off 1,800 people in the coming days. So that's at least something to be happy about. And if you haven't had interactions with the State Department, be thankful for that. Think of it as like the DMV, but like with less oversight and regulations. They basically can do whatever the heck they want to do in other countries and get away with it. And they often like to play James Bond because they think they're cool. Yeah, it's there's a lot. There's good people in there, like any other place. There's good people there. It's just there's a lot of not so good people. Anyway, I'm going to get in trouble on my next trip probably. Anyway, yesterday, federal agents raided a farm in California Leftists in the media immediately blasted them for trying to pick up hardworking foreigners because it's a farm in California. Well, it turns out there's a little more to the story. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. It was a farm where they were growing a special kind of herb. You know what I'm saying? And not the regular one. The spicy one. Yeah. So they're kind of growing that. Turns out, number two, that the farm was a major campaign contributor to the governor. Governor Newsom, or Newscum, depending on who you ask, which will be very important later, further down here. Let's keep going. Number three, protesters showed up because they didn't like that the icy people were there, and so they started throwing rocks at the officers, and one actually pulled out a boomstick and went pow, pow, pow. So, you know, nothing to see here at all. It's not like leftists are inciting people to violence or anything like that, even though violence is being incited. Anyway, number four, and this is where we kind of go, these guys were donating to the governor. 10 minors were found, and I'm not talking about people who dig in the ground, okay? 8 of them did not have parents on location. Couldn't figure out where these kids' parents were. But they were not documented. None of them were documented, and they were working at a farm. Friends, I believe the technical term here is human trafficking. When you have minors who are working, and if you want to wonder how many of these people were getting W-2s, let's just say not many of them. Not many of them. Nope, they were not paying taxes. It's all cash-based. Cash monies. Not using the cash apps, using cash. These aren't stupid people like the people in Texas, right, that got caught. DDS says Southwest Arkansas, no GV pineapple at Walmart for about 2 months. No GV chick coin, or canned chicken, right? The last 2 weeks. The fact that we're starting to see shortages of canned chicken should be very concerning to a lot of people. Angelum says, on the internet thing, the outages, parts of Ohio on the internet were out from 7/3, the 3rd of July, through the 9th of July. Frontier Communications, also parts of New York. This all seemed planned, but we weren't told about it was going to happen. So they shut off people's internet for a week, but didn't warn them ahead of time. So if that sounds normal to you, well then just keep on going your way. But we're getting a lot of reports like this of just big outages across the United States of internet, cell phones, and just power outages all over the place. They continue on here. Haven't seen eggplants in my area for months. And my shed used to house carpenter bees there are none this year. Not seeing any bees at all. Covey says, Southeast Wisconsin, no cilantro or bananas in the grocery store Monday night. Produce looked light. Now, some of you are like, glad there's no cilantro, but I think most of us like the bananas, right? So just none of them. Mr. Mech, sorry. My local Walmart in Minnesota is also rearranging the store. They widened all the aisles to at least 10 feet and wasted a bunch of space with all kinds of islands filled with random goods. I think they are trying to cover up food shortages. Texas cow dog. Isn't a cow dog... Never mind. A female dog, right? That's an inappropriate word. Or at least, it's a technical word, but anyway. I keep 3 bird baths in my backyard because it is hot and dry in Texas. I think we all get that. So I don't want the birds to suffer during these long summer months. I always have a lot of visitors to the baths, and the majority of them are blue jays. This summer I have noticed that about half the number of birds that usually visit, and not a single blue jay. Even the gray squirrel population is down. I had red squirrels last year, but none this year. No bees in on the flowers from my wife's plants, and no butterflies, and no hummingbirds. Something is definitely off this year, and the change is drastic. And that's what I'm hearing from most of you guys out there. Lady Farron says, Sam's Northwest Florida, Pensacola area. Went the other day, and they had literally chopped off the register lane right after the actual cash drawer. There's no place for your purse anymore, and the products after you purchase them. They're supposed to go right into a cart. I think they're trying to follow the Aldi model. Also, they went from 2 to only 1 register open for customers to check out. Since they already have robot floor cleaners with inventory robots on top, I think they are getting ready to go dark and strictly robotic. Pickups only, and they will force you to use a credit card or cell phones to buy from them. That's where we're headed, that's for sure. So that somebody in some office somewhere else can look at your social credit score and say, no, this person doesn't get to purchase anything from us today. Click. Yeah, that's where we're headed, and it's scary. Because you know, a bunch of those people in the United States, they would do that to people like you or me. Wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? Writing from Benjamin says, I went grocery shopping yesterday and couldn't believe how low they were on pretty much all produce. It was pretty sad, really, and some of what they had looked pathetic. All the bananas were old, the watermelons were tiny and overpriced, no broccoli, very few strawberries or blueberries, and many other holes on the shelves. I shop at the same time each week, so it wasn't like I went there right before they were going to stock up or something. SDB says, Mishawaka, Indiana, Kroger. I was talking to an employee about how they don't honor the sales and overcharge on different products. The employee said that it happens a lot there at Kroger, every day. The employee said that they didn't understand why. It's not hard to make sure that the prices match the product. The stores know we overshop, don't check our receipts till we get home, if checked at all. The stores bank on that so that they will continue doing this to customers, start checking those receipts before they go home. Once you get home, you don't want to go back and get a refund. Stores bank on that as well. Yeah, that's kind of what we've been saying, hasn't it been? Charlene says, bought organic nectarines, peaches, and cherries at Weiss in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The nectarines were moldy within a few days, with the exception of 2 that I ate immediately. Cherries going moldy, and peaches are the only thing that are holding up. Not sure for how long. Lisa says, I live in Pennsylvania, and there are a lot of bugs missing. I have not seen worms even after rain. My robins are getting very skinny. There are only a few bees. I have seen no wasps, hornets, bumblebees, butterflies, moths at all. I noticed these changes starting to happen a couple of years ago. I am also very concerned. I want answers as to why this is happening. It's starting to make me angry. Well, we're supposed to be getting a total transparent look at what's coming in from above. We'll see if the government gives us another empty dossier, but we'll see. Jan says, I'm in Sarasota, Florida, and haven't seen one love bug. Normally they cover every car and the car washes, cleaning them off before they damage the paint. There aren't any June bugs or other regional bugs. I noticed the bird population is also less, and even the squirrel population is thinning. We hadn't heard people talking about squirrels yet, but we're hearing that now. LG Girl says, upstate New York, had potatoes from Wally World, Walmart, right, go bad. Thought it was off, but my neighbor also had the same issue. I only get potatoes from Hannaford now. So let's get some practical information out here. Rebel Girl says, Spring Hill, Florida. Potato purchasing hack. Smell the bag. If it smells like dirt, they won't go bad as fast. If they smell sour, they will not last as long. So smell for dirt. Anyone else? Does that work for anyone else? Let me know. Lucille says, when you buy potatoes in the plastic bag, you need to take them out and let them dry out. The plastic bags make them go bad very quickly. I've been doing this for years and they last so much longer. So let me know if that hack helps anyone out there. For me, I usually have kept them in the bag, and they usually go bad real fast. So that's a hack for me, I guess. Dizmo says, I immediately went out and bought some containers of cocoa powder last year when you mentioned that there was going to be a cocoa shortage. Now I'm glad I did. Well, I'm glad you did too. I'm glad a lot of people have listened to the warnings over the years and have saved a lot of money, have gotten prepared, and have been able to weather storms, losses of jobs, medical procedures. I've heard a whole bunch, I've heard hundreds of you guys say that this channel has helped you get prepared and has helped you weather a storm in your life. And a whole bunch of you guys have shared stories about how you've been able to help someone else when there was an issue nearby. All right, friends, you're preparing for yourself, and you're preparing so that you can help others when there is an issue. Thanks so much for being a part of the Watchman community and being awesome people. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you guys over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of The Poplar Report, out.